So how can a parent support their student while the student is learning lost tools, but the parent doesn't know the lost tools?
Probably,
Camille?
probably two different answers depending on where, what kind of situation the student is having these courses. So if he's, I think April was a minute ago, you were talking about the Circe classes. I'll let you talk about that. But if a parent is not in a Circe online class and he's trying to do it at home, or he has a friend who's teaching his child lost tools or something he wants to see, or online, I guess too. If just, you want to look at the homework and see if it's done, how would you know? Well, most of the time, we're looking for quantity because they're practicing a skill, and so it's like piano practice. You're not going to come in and say, "Oh, I think your fingering might have been wrong on that phrasing," or "I didn't hear this crescendo." I mean, those are things that teacher's probably going to say, but you can just say, "I set the timer for 30 minutes and you only did 20, so go back and give me 10 more." And a lot of lost tools homework is like that too, where you look at the page and say, this one goes to 30 and you only did 20, so you need 10 more. So it looks like you're not finished because you haven't answered all the questions yet. And most of the time, that'll get you there. But if you're looking for maybe essays or something, you want to, there are types or examples that you can find either in the student book, or level 1 has a handbook of types that you can get separately that just gives you lots of examples.
Yeah, comparison is our friend as a teacher, as a mom.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah, as a learner too. When I was going through the apprenticeship, I read my lesson and I worked through those templates based on the examples given in the teacher manual. I mean, that's what I was comparing my work to how did they answer that question here. But yeah, I think one of the scariest things about lost tools for me was, Camille mentioned having 20 items in your Annie versus 30 items. The scary thing for me was there was no wrong answer. And I'm a very black and white thinker. So I just wanted someone to tell me the answer. But the truth is, I was practicing thinking for myself using these tools. So anyway, that's a side note.
It's like when you get the curriculum that says answers may vary in the,
Yes.
in the answer book, and then you in the answer book, and yeah,
No.
you pull your hair out. Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny that, but that's true. That's a great way for a parent to be able to say, do these 5 sentences, which is the first essay, look like the examples that the teacher gave in class? Because teachers should, or the book itself provides examples, thank goodness. And that's a great way that helps a parent assess, is my child on the right track? And we get better and better, so nothing's perfect. For the online classes, and I think this would be true whether you were taking lost tools maybe in a co-op, maybe another, your child has another teacher. I still recommend you get the teacher manual so you do have access to those types and examples that we're talking about. Be sure to have those.
Yeah. Did I interrupt you?
No, go ahead.
Because I thought of one more thing, because when a parent does try to check student work, the student's been told maybe to write a simile, and the parent reads it and says, that's the worst simile I've ever read. That's not something that needs to be corrected, because it's like saying that a toddler's never going to learn how to walk because he falls down so often, but we have to let them do that. So is it Chesterton who said anything worth doing is worth doing badly? Mm-hmm. So all we're looking for when the student writes an amplification or an exordium or a metaphor, we're just looking like, is it really there? And did he put it in the right place? And so that's all we need to check for if we're seeing if our child does homework.
Yeah, it can be clumsy or awkward. With practice, they're going to get better at it.
Right.
Also, I think regardless of the situation, helping a student plan well, because sometimes a student is, in that week 1 of the invention, coming up with something to say. As we get into the latter half of the course, we're asking a lot of that student. They might need your help planning that 30 minutes every day instead of waiting till Thursday or Friday when it's due. And then it just becomes stressful and it's a 2-hour session. So parents can help by helping their student plan their week well. And that goes hand in hand with accountability. Just making sure, did they commit and do those 30 minutes of work? Did they get that work in? For the online academy, parents can also become observers. They can assign up in their account, and that way they're going to receive notifications for when the assignment is given and what is the assignment, any announcements. And for me, my announcements are all of my class notes, all of the types and examples, usually a little summary of, remember, this is what we covered, and that they're going to have access to that.
And all of the assessments.
Yes, and all the assessments, all the comments. What did your teacher ask you to do? It's all there on Canvas for them. And always, I can speak, I feel like I can speak for the Circe teachers. They'd back me up here. Contact your teacher. If your student is spending a stressful amount of time, if you see some stress, contact your teacher. We're all available through email, through, sometimes if we need to have a phone call so we can talk through and help encourage and support you and your student. That's what we're here for.
Two more things.
Yeah.
If your student is spending 5 hours on it, my son did this with his math homework. If you'd set a timer for him and say, you just work on it for 20 minutes right now, he would finish in 20 minutes instead of in 2 hours, because he just couldn't get started because he knew it was going to,
it's going to take forever.
Well, yes, when it's going to take forever, you can't start. But if you only have to do it for 20 minutes and then finished or not, you get up. That's a trick. But also, or tip. Tip. So for calendar though, I think that the first, for the first month of level 1, the students are probably spending maybe 20 minutes a week on homework. And for the last month of level 1, it's 2 hours. And so your spring semester is going to need to be scheduled differently from your fall semester if you're doing level 1, because it'll get up to like, maybe an hour by December, but then an hour and a half by the end of February. And that's where I see a lot of students hit a wall and start to get behind. And I, a lot of times, give an extra week there because it's a shock. It's not 20 minutes homework anymore. And now it's an hour and a half. And then it builds, so everything you've ever done is what you're doing for homework every week. So that's another calendar thing that you need to plan on for a school year.
Yeah, be aware of, for sure. It's time to send that email out.
Right.
It's December.
Coming.
Yeah. Thank you both.